through storms, unshaken, unbowed. Through trials and verdicts, still standing proud. A titan in the tempest, against the raging crowd. He's got a vision for the future, gonna shout it aloud. Changing the wind, it's coming fast. A new foundation built to last. Cryptocurrency's the key, make the big switch. Power to the people, time to teach the rich. Legal battles can't hold him, he's moving on with plans so bold.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Crazy Cryptonaut channel. I am Zester, and I hope everyone is having an awesome Trump Day, Hump Day. Hope everyone is having a great week. Good morning, Kukla. Happy Trump Day to you. Good morning, Mile High Trish. I hope you two are doing awesome. Kukla, how are Tino, and Tommy? They're doing very, very well. They're doing very well. I think all three of them are currently having a dog pile or a cat pile nap on the couch at the moment. But I'm certain now that I've started talking, that means that a Tommy or a Tina are going to have to come show up and see what's going on back here. Good morning, Deborah. Welcome. Morning there, Frank. Hope you're doing great. Good morning there to Doug, LG Lady, and Musical Lady. Howdy, everybody. And so, yeah, we have got, well, of course, it's always a great time to be in the crypto space when all the prices are going in the right direction. And so let's actually go ahead and start checking out the prices on our cryptocurrencies today, because, man, there is a lot to look forward to here. Of course, I should. Thank you, Kukla, for making certain that I get this one. I should preface our crypto chat by first stating that I am not a financial professional. The content in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended to provide financial advice. Please consult with a financial professional before making investment decisions. Absolutely. Musical Lady on the edge of our seats of the Genius Act to be voted on today in the House. Absolutely, Musical Lady. And that actually ties directly into, well, check out the market today. We have got Bitcoin currently sitting at $119,000 a pop. We did manage to actually go over $122,000 just on, I believe, the 14th. And so on Monday, we managed to hit 122,780. Then we started to see a little bit of a stall off in the market, with the reason being, well, there were issues going on in the House of Representatives. We had a group of Republicans who decided to side with the Democrats. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But needless to say, that bad news about the potential passage of the Genius Act really kind of tampered expectations and really hindered the market. Now that everything appears to be back on track, well, the market is particularly happy. And so, yes, Musical Lady, definitely looking forward to the Genius Act passing. If it does pass, we are going to have one historic day in terms of general cryptocurrency prices. It's already looking pretty awesome, but we're going to have a particularly historic day if the Genius Act does pass, because we're sitting at XRP, sitting right at $3, which is I'm still ready. I'm ready for for us to break our all-time high from back in 2018, but not going to complain about it being at $3. But the real crazy winner is Stellar. Stellar managed to actually jump up over 50 cents just yesterday. Stellar currently sitting at 46 cents, up 58.5% over the past 7 days. Stellar is outperforming XRP in this little run. Hey, Michelle Newth, good morning to you. And Chipper Tie-Dye, thank you very much. This is the new one. Kukla, thank you so much for sending it. This is the new the newest of the Coffee with Mark Z tie-dye shirts. And so it's nice to have a nice fresh one that isn't quite as faded over the years, but I do enjoy it. Thank you so much, Koopa, for sending this. Thank you. Michelle New working, so listen only. Well, thank you so much for being here. Franco, all about CBDC. Now, one of the bills that is a part of Crypto Week is actually a bill that pretty much does nothing more than just outlaw the possibility of there ever being a central bank digital currency. That is, in my opinion, another very important bill that is up on the docket. With everything going on, though, I think that we're pretty much just going to be hoping that we can get the Genius Act this week, just with everything else going on politically at the moment. Mummy of Three, just getting started. What should I do? Well, Mummy of Three, welcome, and congratulations on starting your crypto journey. The first things to do, Mummy of Three, are definitely to start easy and start with small amounts of money. I would highly recommend getting a Coinbase account set up and maybe putting $10 over there and just playing with it and learning how to be comfortable with cryptocurrency before you start progressing any further than that. And so Mummy of Three, first step, make an account and just practice. It really is a lot less, it's a lot less scary when you're first getting started, if you're starting with very small amounts and you're not in a rush, because you just don't feel like you have a ton on the line to lose. And you don't need to in crypto. With $10, I can go around and I can learn how to perform all of the different cryptocurrency actions in the same way that I could do with $100,000. And so that would be where I would start, Mummy of Three. I would start with doing some research, watching some videos, liking and subscribing to the Crazy Cryptonaut channel, and then just getting an account made with something like Coinbase. There'll be little free lessons, so you'll get some free cryptocurrency as you're learning, which is awesome because then you get to practice with the free crypto, and then you really don't have anything on the line to worry about. That's definitely where I would start, Mummy of Three. And of course, come back and ask questions whenever you have anything come up that's confusing, for certain. LG Lady, I have a little Stellar and don't remember getting it. LG Lady, well, your little bit of Stellar is doing particularly well over the past couple of days. Musical Lady, very pleased with the XLM run lately. I would have to agree. XLM really did not see the same type of value increase during XRP's run following Trump winning the presidency. Of course, XLM went up. It just didn't see the same kind of massive price increase that XRP did. And so it seemed like it was kind of overdue that our XLM got back on track. All right. Hey, Crazy Chester, my Toshi is up 25%. Mummy of Three, a friend walked me through it, so I have a Coinbase account. That's about it. Well, you're on a good track then there, Mummy of Three. You're on a good track. Hey, good morning there, Yukon. How are you doing? All right, guys, let's jump over here because, yes, the crypto week. Republicans had a little bit of an issue. Republicans declared it crypto week in the House, and it's not necessarily going as planned. And so the procedural snafu where a block of Republicans unexpectedly joined the Democrats in order to prevent the legislation from coming onto the floor for discussion, well, that managed to hold things up for about 24 hours, and it has definitely put a damper on the entire Republican crypto week. And this one is quite odd. We really don't have an explanation from these Republicans on why. We really don't have an explanation. All we know is that 13 Republicans out of nowhere decided to switch over, and now we actually have a bit of an update on that ongoing drama as Trump called all of them to the White House and I guess gave them all a slap on the wrist, a spanking, a conversation. I'm not certain. But Trump claims that the deal is back on and that the Republican revolt has ended. Again, though, we did not get any major explanation on really why these Republican lawmakers, were unwilling to jump on board. there seems to be a bit of a debate over whether they're trying to package the 3 crypto bills. The Senate doesn't want the House to package the 3 crypto bills. They just want them to pass the Genius Act, and they want to pass standalone legislation. The House is worried that if they don't package all 3 of the bills together, that the Senate's not going to look at their bills. And so that's where one of the little claims are. That seems like particularly petty on the Republican lawmaker side, if that is the case. But I have seen some rumors arguing that that's the reason behind all of this. I have seen some rumors, but we are apparently back on track as of right now. And well, that's why, look how happy the market is. Market heard that everything was back on track. Prices started heading on up again. And so some Republicans wanted the Stablecoin Regulating Genius Act amended or bundled in with 2 other crypto bills up for a vote this week: the CBDC banning Anti-CBDC Surveillance Act and the sweeping crypto market structure bill dubbed the Clarity Act. The move to pass the bills is a Republican-led effort dubbed Crypto Week to have crypto laws in action before Congress goes on a month-long break in August. Democrats, meanwhile, have declared an anti-crypto corruption week to oppose the bills. Thankful for President Trump getting involved. The dissenters, the 12 dissenters, Steve Scalise, Andrew Clyde, Tim Burchett, Andy Biggs, Eli Crane, Michael Cloud, Marjorie Taylor Greene, which was somewhat of a surprise. Really, I guess the 2 big ones here that were a surprise to me were Marjorie Taylor Greene and Steve Scalise. Now, this vote is still expected to occur today. And so there is a very high likelihood that the Genius Act could potentially pass today in the House and then be on its way to President Trump, assuming that all 13 of these Republicans have decided to actually get on board. Proud Arab American, take that CBDC clause out. The Dems slipped in there. It's already illegal in Florida. Now, many states have passed state legislation outlawing the idea or ever using a central bank digital currency. And so there would be. If any form of a CBDC manages to sneak in, there's going to be a lot of court cases going on between the states that have already passed laws outlawing it. Tammy 1776. I have the Coinbase, but was afraid of connecting it to my bank account. What should I do? Tammy, I would just say on that one that my bank account is connected to my Coinbase. I've never had any issues in any form or fashion. And the reason that I feel very comfortable with it, Tammy, is that anytime you send money from your bank account to Coinbase, you are not able to leave Coinbase with that money. And so in that regard, if someone were to say hack and send money from my bank account, Tammy, over to my Coinbase, there's not going to be an opportunity for them to then steal my money. Ultimately, I'm not that worried about connecting a bank account to Coinbase. But Tammy, if you are worried about it, there are, and I have worked with people, and there are 2 different ways that some folks have gone about it. One way that people have gone about it is they've taken a smaller bank account, maybe, they've got a bank account at some bank that they don't really ever actually use anymore. And so it never really has money in it. And I have seen some people they will connect that bank account, and then whenever they want to deposit money, they'll send it from their typical bank account over to that bank account, which then sends it to Coinbase. And in that regard, they've managed to block, Coinbase or a connection to their bank account to, the main bank account, the one that you need to pay your bills with. Well, you can keep those separate. And so that's been one way or one strategy that I've seen, Tammy, for those that were worried about having their main bank account connected. The other option, Tammy, and I don't know if I would really recommend this one, is you can buy with credit and debit cards. You can buy with credit and debit cards, and okay, that allows you to on-ramp. But Tammy, there's one big problem about not connecting your bank account to Coinbase. And this is going to be the one thing that's going to essentially force you to do it. Tammy, whenever you wanted to get your money out of crypto, you have to have a bank account connected to Coinbase. And so whether it's Kraken or Gemini or whatever centralized exchange you want to use, ultimately, you're going to have to connect the bank account. you're not going to have another choice. At a certain point, if you want to be able to remove money from crypto back to your bank, so that you can go buy a new house, XRP goes to the moon. Everybody out there has got tons of money, compliments of XRP. Well, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to send some of that money to your bank account. And that's when you're going to have to connect your Coinbase and your bank. And so I understand your worries on that one, Tammy. I totally understand your worries. I think that you do have a few different options, though, of ways to mitigate that concern. And also, of course, you do have that, you have that drop dead date at some point where you're going to have to make a connection to it. Kukla 21, it will pass. No, absolutely. Absolutely. If it does pass, guys, I expect to see some real craziness go on in terms of the prices that we're seeing right now. I mean, we really could. It's the excitement over specifically the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and the Anti-CBDC Act. In all honesty, those probably aren't going to move the metrics but so much in terms of prices. But this stablecoin legislation, this one could make a genuine fundamental change in the value to the cryptocurrency market. This one really could send some prices heading up pretty substantially. I don't think we're all going to wake up millionaires tomorrow because of it passing, but we will probably wake up with a little bit more money to our names than we had before. So, yep, Musical Aid, Trump was the closer again to get the 13 Republican holdouts to now come on board and will vote yes, according to Trump. True Social post. Absolutely. That's what I am seeing. That's what I've read, Musical Lady. It appears that everything is going to be A-OK in regards to that one. Tony Stormcloud, we need the CBDC to not be a thing. Absolutely, Tony. Central bank digital currencies are, they are the absolute, that is the mark of the beast. That is terrifying, 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 terrifying prospect, the idea of a central bank digital currency. So I'm in complete agreement, Tony. I think not only do we need to outlaw central bank digital currencies in perpetuity, but we need to also heavily sanction and regulate whether our businesses in our country is allowed to even interact with other nations who are using central bank digital currencies, because there's always going to be a massive danger if we allow other countries to use CBDCs. They will be able to manipulate their currency against ours to extreme degrees. So I do, Tony. Not only do I believe that we should never, and we should make it illegal to ever have one in the United States, but we should actually have a regulatory framework for whether we are even allowed to interact with other countries that utilize central bank digital currencies, because it really is a matter of national security. Think about the currency manipulation that China has been employing against the United States for, 40, 50 years now. Imagine that on absolute steroids with a central bank digital currency. It's concerning, Tony. It's concerning. Proud Arab American. She could use the idea you gave her of the second account, and then she could move money to Coinbase and then disconnect after you move it, then reconnect if you want to pull the money back to your bank account right now. You can, Proud Arab American. You just would need to probably re-verify your bank account each time. I seem to remember from the past verification that essentially what they had me do was they sent like 2 $1 transfers to my bank account, and they had me come over and actually write in what those what those exact numbers were, and then that was how I verified it, something of that nature. But I believe that would be perfectly fine, Proud Arab American. That'd be a good idea for her, because then you could disconnect, reconnect. I would just be conscious of the fact that when you go to reconnect, there may be a bit of a delay, and so if you're ever going to be in some kind of big rush, need that money now type situation, you may want to plan ahead a little bit by making certain that you've already gone ahead and connected it so that you don't have any delays. All right, Zester, please give an update on your one-on-one training. Everything on one-on-one training is still progressing forward, but not quickly. But I will let everyone know as soon as it is active. I am fingers crossed hoping that this is the week. I was told it's the week, but I was told that it was going to be done a few weeks ago. So I'm starting to get a little pessimistic whenever they give me a timeline. But fingers crossed, it'll be done by Friday. Fingers crossed. Surfer44, hello, Zester. If you watch your bank account closely, you're fine. If it was easy to hack in your bank account and Coinbase did not have good security, Coinbase would go out of business. I totally agree, Surfer44. I'm not too concerned about it. I'm not too concerned about it at all. Having it connected to Coinbase, I totally get it. It would be a whole different question if Coinbase was not an American company. Coinbase is based in the United States. It's an American company. And so I feel far more comfortable connecting my bank account to them than maybe I would say if the centralized exchange was based somewhere else around the world. I would be a little bit more concerned. LG Lady, I had to re-verify yesterday, actually. Okay, cool, LG Lady. We got a very recent update on how they're doing it with Coinbase. LG Lady had to re-verify yesterday. They used third party. And very easy. Just log into your bank is all and check mark the account you allow. Easy peasy. Awesome. Awesome. It sounds like they've made it even simpler than the last time I did it. Holistic. Have you a regular weekly schedule that you have live shows? Holistic, I do. It is Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those are my 3 per week that are set there. Holistic. Captain Spiffy Zester's back in Wolverine mode. Yeah, a little bit. Long hair. I'm letting it all go loose for a little bit. Letting it all go loose for a little bit. All right. Let's jump back over to our news articles, though, guys, because we have one that, well, I'm going to skip around, actually, because I'm just particularly more excited about this one. XRP futures volume on the CME hit a record $235 million. Institutional investors prefer CME derivatives for regulated exposure to digital assets, avoiding direct ownership. Now, and so future markets for XRP are a fairly new idea. We do know that there are others that are looking to mark towards XRP ETFs and other different financial vehicles and structures, but what the futures market allows is it does, as stated previously, it allows for a lot of institutional investors to get some exposure to digital assets, in this case XRP, without having to learn how to do anything on the blockchain or without ever having to take legitimate ownership over the digital asset. And so this is much preferred for many institutional investors. And at this point in time, it's very important for the future of XRP and Ripple, which has now applied for a banking license in the United States. Ripple, which uses XRP for cross-border transactions, has applied for a banking license. Now, the futures market, I believe, at this point, since inception, trading volume is at $1.6 billion. But Friday itself, $235 million of XRP futures trading. These numbers are going to continue to rise, and these are the things that are very important as metrics for all of us to be looking at. These are ones that are very important for all of us to be looking at, because this is where we start to see actual institutional adoption. In XRP's business model, their genuine plan in the long run is based off of institutional adoption. XRP in and of itself is designed, and the blockchain itself is designed to facilitate cross-border transactions with tokenized assets in the very near future. And so in that regard, institutional adoption is very, very, very important, because they're set to be the primary users of the XRP ledger, at least in terms of its current business model. So this one is very interesting. Why Friday did we see such a massive increase in volume? Well, I would have to say that a large part of that comes down to the Genius Act that is currently being discussed. The Genius Act sets the rules and the regulations for stablecoins. Remember, RLUSD, the very recently launched XRP stablecoin pegged to the US dollar. And remember, the future of XRP, tokenizing gold or tokenizing silver and tokenizing other assets, that as we start to look towards that, the Genius Act is what really allows for that future. And so it is a very, very exciting week for XRP and for all of crypto, compliments of the Genius Act. All right. Tony Stormcloud, I'm partial to XLM because silver is the metal of redemption. Tony, we have to see. I've yet to see updates on XLM side in terms of the tokenization. I'm really he's there, guys. I tried to get to the mute button before sneezing into the mic, but Tony, I'm looking for more information from XLM on how they plan on handling it. That's something that I want more of an explanation from them sometime soon. All right, though. Well, Bitcoin not at peak yet. Watch these BTC price levels next. Where are? And so folks may be wondering, we're seeing Bitcoin. We saw $122,000 Bitcoin just the other day. Well, where is the next resistance level? Where is Bitcoin going to start seeing a lot more sales? Well, according to the on-chain data, it looks like the next big overhead resistance level is somewhere around $124,000 to $126,000. And so expectations are, if the Genius Act passes, that we're going to see Bitcoin hit $125,000 on pretty much any day that the Genius Act passes. And that's where we're most likely going to start seeing a lot more sell pressure. Maybe the excitement and the buy pressure from the Genius Act passing is enough to actually push through that resistance level, but most likely it's not going to be, judging by how many sales are being lined up at that price point. And remember, though, and this is important, whenever you hear about the price levels and about resistance, that there is a really big and very important caveat. Because of on-chain and because of the blockchain, we're able to see the points where there are a lot of sell orders on many of the different exchanges. So we can kind of go to a certain price point and we can see, oh, at $125,000 per Bitcoin, there are $10 billion worth of Bitcoin that people have already put up for sale. This creates a massive resistance level. And so people then will start to predict, or they'll start to trade with that understanding. Now, keep in mind, though, that resistance level can disappear. All it takes is for whoever those investors are that are all setting up for sales at 125,000, all it takes is for them to remove their sell order. They take their limit order off the market, bam, that massive resistance suddenly disappears. And so that same exact logic occurs in terms of buys. Say the price is falling, there are a ton of buys all lined up at $120,000, and then all of the buyers withdraw their limit orders out of nowhere, and bam, look, the price drops far below because, well, there was no resistance. And so that's a very important thing to keep in mind, guys, whenever you look at things like this, or you see analysts talking about different resistance levels or price levels. Understand it is technical analysis, which is essentially in many ways, is not very different from reading tea leaves, and also that it can literally change in an absolute second. That's how fast cryptocurrency trading is, and that's how fast the investors are. They will just pull that resistance level and let the price fly. Zester, when you refer to a Coinbase account, do you use the Coinbase app? That's a great question, Survivor. When I refer to Coinbase, I am talking about Coinbase, the exchange account. I am not talking about Coinbase Wallet. Coinbase Wallet is a whole other thing. It's another service provided by Coinbase that I do not use, and I don't recommend that anyone use. Coinbase Wallet has had issues over the years. Coinbase, the centralized exchange, that's what I'm referring to, Surfer, when I'm talking about my Coinbase account. Hey, Starboard Tag, morning, Freeze. Oh, man, I'm going to see you next week. Looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it. I suppose I can let you have your hat back as well there, Freeze, I suppose. All right, LG Lady Zester, would you stake BTC if your plan is to let it ride? Is there a time option of staking? LG Lady, that's a great question. And so when it comes to, and this is something that I think I myself and many others are going to start participating in far more often in the near future. But absolutely, LG Lady, depending upon what they're using that money, what they're using my crypto for, I would feel very comfortable staking my Bitcoin for the long term because, well, I have a 10-year, 20-year outlook on something like Bitcoin. And so there are time options in staking, LG Lady. And so that's one where we're going to start getting a lot more options as US residents for staking in the coming months. We've really been very limited because of the SEC and all the craziness where we didn't really get to participate in the same type of staking options that people in Europe or people from around the world have. That is changing as we speak. We're getting more and more staking options in the US. I absolutely plan on participating, LG Lady, and there are timed options. There are certain things that you stake towards, like we'll use an example. A great example would be Solana. And so the Solana blockchain is a proof of stake blockchain. That's the mechanism that it verifies blocks on, that it verifies transactions on. And that means that I can actually earn a return in Solana by buying Solana and then staking Solana to verify the network. The great part about a staking option like that is there is essentially no risk because my Solana is not being used to do anything. It's just sitting in a wallet verifying transactions. It's sitting in a smart contract, I suppose I should say, verifying transactions. Essentially, zero chance of my Solana going anywhere. No matter what, if I put in one Solana, I'm going to get one Solana back, guaranteed. And so options like that in proof of stake models, well, that's really a pretty darn sweet deal. Now, how they work, LG Lady, is different on each blockchain. And so with Solana, I believe that essentially there's a lockup period that you will then have to wait for. And so it could be like 15 days or 30 days, but that's going to be the only real impediment, LG Lady, is you're going to stake your crypto and there'll be different rules for different staking mechanisms, but you're going to stake it and then you're just going to let it ride. You're just going to let it ride. And then when you want to unstake it, you're going to unstake. It's probably going to take a couple of weeks or maybe a week, maybe a couple of days for you to have your crypto back. And so what this does, LG Lady, is you just have to keep in mind that say the price skyrockets and you want to sell. Well, if you're staked in certain protocols, you won't be able to get your crypto out in order to sell at that opportune moment. Same idea if the price starts to plummet. Maybe you want out. You just want the pain to stop. You want to sell. You're going to have to keep in mind when you start staking things, there are going to be different lockup periods that will occur, but you're going to choose. You're going to have very much a choice in the matter, LG Lady. You're going to say, oh, I only want to participate in staking options that allow me immediate access to withdrawal, and so you will be able to. But there may be this other one over here that's a 30-day lock that offers twice the interest rate, and you might start to get tempted and you might say, hey, I really am planning on holding this Bitcoin forever. Why am I worried about needing to be able to withdraw it in less than a 30-day time period? Let's just go ahead and take that higher APR. Let's take that better deal. And I just can't rapidly decide to sell my Bitcoin. And so you're going to have a lot of control over it, LG Lady. You're going to have a lot of options. And that's the great part about when you're working with smart contracts and you are staking in crypto, is that the rules are laid out crystal clear, and the rules are the same for you as they are for everybody else. And so when you look at that staking pool and it tells you what the rules are, those rules are hard-coded. They are the rules. They're transparent. You know them. And so you get to go into the situation with the knowledge of what you're getting yourself into. Hey, howdy there, Mary Jones, headed to Nax Head, North Carolina for a well-deserved vacation. That is awesome, Mary Jones. You enjoy that. All right, Holistic. How does one receive crypto from someone else? Do I send them the cold wallet address in a regular email? Oh, Holistic, that's actually a great question. And so essentially that's what you would do. So Holistic, you have a public wallet address. Now you might have your Ledger, you might have whatever. I'm just going to use MetaMask because, well, it's in the browser. It's right here and it's easy for me to pull up. And so, well, I guess it'll be easier if I remember what my password is, I guess. There we go. Third time's the charm. Okay. And so what you would do, Holistic, is say exact situation right there. Somebody wants to send you crypto. All right. How do I do it? What you're going to do is you're going to get your public wallet address. And so in this case, on MetaMask, it's right here for me to actually click the copy button. But what that is going to be is it's different on each blockchain. If it's an Ethereum one, it's going to start with a 0x. But right here, I'm going to see, and I know this is very hard on, it's very hard on y'all's side because of the small screen on this one. And so I'm trying to see if there's a better way that I can display, this one so that you're capable of seeing it. But I don't know if I can get it any larger. But essentially, you'll take this, your wallet address, and so exactly like you're talking about, Holistic, you log into your Ledger Live, you go over to your accounts, you click on whichever wallet it is that you want to receive, and then you would click receive. You would then go through, get your public wallet address, and then you would open up that email address and you would send it to them, Holistic. Absolutely. Very regularly, email is the easiest way to actually send somebody your public wallet address. Now, another thing to remember is that whenever you send someone a public wallet address, you are not sending them access to your wallet. There is no danger in sending a public wallet address to someone. Now, what you do need to remember is that when you send a public wallet address to someone, you are giving them a window into your finances. And so if Holistic, as an example, say you went through this process, you copied your wallet address and you emailed it to me. Now, the second you emailed it to me, I can literally go and I can see everything that you have in that crypto wallet. I can see where you got it. I can see what you spend your money on. I can see how long you've had crypto. I can see everything. I can connect your wallet to maybe other wallets that you've interacted with. I know a lot about what's going on that wallet. And that's just something that everybody is going to have to be consciously aware of, that that's a change in how our financial system is going to be working. When you send from one crypto wallet to another crypto wallet, we are transparent. And that's one of the great things. But keep in mind that it's only you and I that know that that's our wallet. Anybody else looking at the situation, Holistic, they don't know that that's you. And so just something to be keep in mind. But there's nothing to worry about, Holistic, with sending a public wallet address. Old Rounder, bro, I only feel comfortable staking on chain after seeing what happened with Celsius Network and others. Okay, yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. I am still quite hesitant as well with most of the different staking companies. Doug G, sorry, I'm still a newbie. What does staking mean? Staking, Doug, is what actually occurs, or what you do when you say, okay, for Solana, when you're doing is you're placing your crypto, you're placing your money inside of a smart contract that it has a specific task. And so, Doug, you could stake your crypto to be a liquidity provider. And then your crypto is going to be used in order for people to make trades back and forth. You are then going to be compensated for having provided that liquidity. There would be an example of staking. Or you could stake your crypto in order to verify transactions. Now, your crypto is held inside of a smart contract. They're using it in order to verify transactions, and you're getting paid a return for having staked it. Doug, I hope that gave a pretty good understanding of it. I hope so. LG Lady, does it stake a full amount? Yes, I will be staking. Thank you, Zester. LG Lady, you get to choose how much you want to stake. And so each different one and each person, you could say, hey, I only want to stake 100 XRP. I don't want to stake all of it. I only want to stake 100 of it. Or I only want to stake half of my Bitcoin holdings, and I want to have the other half immediately accessible. And those would be, Yep, you absolutely can. And you get a lot of choice in the matter. Robin Parker, my advice, don't send your crypto to anyone. Robin Parker, definitely. I would agree. In the modern context and the modern use of crypto right now, as of today, there are really not too many situations where you would be sending crypto around on a regular basis. Not for most people. If you maybe work in it or you're a regular trader, whole different story. But Robin, you're totally right. 99% of everybody out there, don't worry too much about sending it. If you're sending crypto, send it from one of your wallets to another one of your wallets. And you can get some practice that way. And that really is a great idea and a very easy thing to do. That's something that I have done before when I'm teaching someone. I have just made a free wallet on my phone, and I have sent transactions from my phone to my computer, phone, just to show exactly how it works. And in that regard, I'm sending crypto from a wallet I own to a wallet I own. It's not actually moving, but it allows for a lot of practice without having to worry about it. Tony Stormcloud, which one is better, Coinbase hot wallet or cold wallet? Tony, I do not use any of the Coinbase wallet services. Coinbase has a cold storage service. I don't use it. Coinbase has a hot wallet service. I don't use it. For hot wallets, Tony, I use MetaMask. And so MetaMask is my hot wallet. MetaMask is the oldest web browser wallet on the market, to my knowledge. Definitely the most popular one. And it just has a lot of different capabilities and support. I've never had an issue with it. And so I tend to stick with things like that. And so I use MetaMask if I'm using a hot wallet. Now, remember, hot wallets are software wallets. They are connected to the internet. They are less secure than a cold wallet. For cold wallet storage, or for my deep storage, the bank vault, etc., I use a Ledger hardware wallet exclusively, or a variety of Ledger hardware wallets. And so, Tony, there are services like Coinbase will charge you like a bunch of money each month to put into cold storage. If that's what you choose to use, then more power to you. I would just say that I keep on my, this was a one-time purchase, and I am the custodian of all of my crypto, and it's in my Fort Knox. And so in that regard, Tony, I would lean more towards getting your own hardware wallet, your own cold wallet. Now, remember, that does come with a responsibility of being the custodian of your crypto and of your financial future. So please do remember that whenever you put your crypto onto your wallets and it's not on an exchange, well, there's not going to be anybody to blame, but unfortunately yourself if anything happens to it. And so just as a heads up, Tony, you just have to make certain that you write down your 24 words and you take them very, very seriously when you start getting into the self-custodying of your crypto. All right. ADHD, is there an online graphic data report comparing the ratio of silver to different crypto coins, XRP, XLM, etc.? ADHD, do you mean like the amount of silver that is backed by, or maybe just the general value proposition of an investment in silver versus an investment in XRP or XLM, like an overall looking to see which one has done better? I'm just not certain. ADHD, I want to make certain that I get you the right answer on this one, but wasn't certain if you were kind of talking about the amount of silver that maybe these these cryptos have tokenized, or like the price of silver versus the price of XRP and XLM. Oh, definitely. I'll be looking for that, ADHD. Be happy to get you an answer. LG Lady, first time I bought something having to use Bitcoin through Cash App, do they continue to see my account? LG Lady, when you order and you buy through something like Cash App, that is a different situation because you're not actually sending them your public wallet address. In that regard, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different, LG Lady. And so apps like that are going to become very popular for sending money because most likely, and for sending crypto, because most likely, LG Lady, what we're going to see in the near future is we're going to see on like an app like Cash App, you're going to have a choice. You're going to say, Do I show them who I am, or do I make this payment privately? I've actually already seen that on certain wallet applications where they've already started to build in privacy features so that you can send crypto without actually showing somebody your wallet address. That technology is already out there and already being developed. And so you're going to get a lot more options on that front. Tammy, I just combined Coinbase to my bank and had me go through Plaid. Is that okay? Yep, Plaid is just a third-party verifier. They're just verifying and essentially taking some liability on. Okay, ADHD, just general market comparisons. ADHD, a great outlet, and so I don't have it sitting up right now, but I know exactly where you could go and you could get something like that. I'm just trying to remember what the name of the service is. It's give me 1 second there, ADHD. I know this one. I know that there's a great service for this, but what you would have to do is you would have to go in and actually put the different markets up against each other. And so TradingView would be the one. Let's see. Yeah, TradingView would definitely allow for exactly that to occur. But I'm not certain, haven't used it in just a little bit. I would have to check it out, but I would definitely recommend TradingView for being able to go in and then you could just choose gold, silver, XRP, XLM. What other things though that you can kind of look at ADHD if you wanted to take a bit more of a bird's eye view on it is also to just go through and look on a CoinGecko and be able to check out the general price charts and then to just go over to say a Miles Franklin or something like that and check out the price charts. But TradingView would be a really good one. TradingView is a good one because it's free to use the service and all you do is just click essentially track Bitcoin from this date to this date, track XRP from this date to this date, track silver from this date to this date. And it does all of it for you. It even analyzes the different graphs. And so definitely ADHD. I think that one would be a good one. Tammy, I just have a hard time trusting anyone. I totally get that. Tammy, I totally get that. You hear about so many horror stories in the crypto space and just online in general that it does make you kind of worry with everything that you do out there. So totally get that, Tammy. All right, though, guys, let's check out our last article, and then we'll be seeing if anybody has more questions. If not, everybody, we will head off and get busy getting the work done today. But here is one that I definitely wanted to share with everybody, and I wanted to actually put this one immediately into the chat because this is a great read. There's a lot to learn here in terms of tokenization, because tokenization is really the future. Tokenization of real-world assets is what's going to make your XRP and your XLM valuable. Tokenization of real-world assets is what's going to change our financial system. We're going to finally be able to move back to a gold and silver backed economy. We're going to be able to move back to out of this horrible modern money fiat system that we currently live in. We're going to actually be able to move to currencies that are backed up by real world value, but that are still liquid and transferable. It's going to be because of tokenization. And here we have with Robinhood, we have the tokenization of stocks. Now, tokenized stocks could be huge for mainstream adoption of crypto, but critics say they don't provide legal ownership and failed last cycle. Now, ever since Vlad Tenev bounded onto the stage in Cannes 2 weeks ago, everybody has been talking about tokenized stocks. Robinhood is a TradeFi equities platform with 26 million retail customers tokenizing stocks on Arbitrum and offering them to EU users through its user-friendly app service. There are no crypto wallets or seed phrases required. Robinhood itself is actually being built on the blockchain technology itself. And so you are able to go into your Robinhood account This is not available for the vast majority of U.S. customers as of yet. Robinhood has applied for the rights to start selling tokenized stocks to U.S. consumers. But as of right now, this is being sold to Europeans. European markets are now able to purchase tokenized shares of different stocks, tokenized shares of Tesla, tokenized shares of any company out there, John Deere, whatever you may be, whatever you are thinking of. You're able to tokenize those stocks or buy those tokenized stocks from outside of the United States. This is going to revolutionize how stock markets function. Stock market is a pretty antiquated idea. It has very limited hours. I believe that the metric is that 81% of the year, the stock market is closed. 81% of the year. So for 19% of each year, the stock market is actually open. Well, in the world of tokenized stocks, the markets will be 24/7, 365 days out of the year. There will be perpetual trades of stocks and tokenized stock forms. There will suddenly be market tracking for the price of stocks after hours, because now it's going to be far more important. Aftermarket trading is not going to stop. It's just going to keep happening. People are just going to keep trading. People are going to be trading at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. It's going to revolutionize how people purchase stocks, and also it's going to revolutionize how the stock market itself works. And so I would highly recommend reading this one if you do have the time, guys, and you are interested, because this gets very, very intriguing as you start to go through, and they break down the benefits, the pros, the cons. This thing is like, because I debated going through the whole thing with everybody, but it is a very, very long, very, very long article, but it is very, very interesting. I read through the whole thing this morning, got myself distracted actually from everything else because it was such an interesting read. And there were a few different parts of cons and pros to the tokenization of the stock market that I would not really fully considered. And so definitely want to check out. Patty Perry, are you a fan of Robinhood? Well, okay. I am not a fan of Robinhood, the company, but it is a very easy to use service. And the reason I'm not a fan of the company is because GameStop and the whole debacle, because, well, I had GameStop shares on Robinhood. And so, well, I feel a little bit of a certain kind of way about Robinhood because I feel like they kept me from making as much money on my GameStop shares, the jerks. And so in that regard, Patty, I am not a huge fan of the company themselves. Robinhood, the app, though, is very, very, very easy to use. It is scary easy. And so, Patty, I would have to say I do like the idea of the Robinhood app. I really like that. I really like the idea that anybody and everybody, no matter what, would be capable of participating and investing in their financial future and in expressing their freedom of speech, because how we choose to spend our money is a matter of freedom of speech. And I believe we should have limitless, boundaryless access to making investment decisions as if we were a bank or as if we were an accredited investor. I just truly, strongly believe in the democratization of the future financial system. And so I love that part. I love how easy it is. I love how cheap it is to use, but I'm not a big fan of the company. And so I guess that's a very odd position to be in. All right, LG Lady, would you would you believe I've had my ledger 2 years and it is set up, but I have not pulled the trigger? Oh, LG Lady, I'm too scared. Maybe waiting for one-on-one with you. LG Lady, maybe that would be the perfect time. Maybe that would be the perfect time. We could definitely do that, LG Lady. The other thing, LG Lady, though, is remember, just try with really small amounts. Send $1. And if it doesn't show up, well, it sucks. We lost $1, but it might allow you to feel far more comfortable. But if you do want to wait, LG Lady, just wait. Don't worry. It won't be long before we'll be able to do a one-on-one and we'll be able to get you handled. And I'll be able to make certain that there's no issues. All right. All right, guys. Well, that covers a lot of the biggest articles of the day. And really, the entire day in terms of crypto is going to just be sitting around and waiting to see if the Genius Act passes. If y'all want something fun to do throughout the day, every once in a while, refresh the markets. And I guarantee you will be able to tell at exactly which moment the Genius bill passes based off of the moment that the crypto markets start to skyrocket. And so if anybody wants a fun little thing to refresh throughout the day, just refresh the markets. You don't need to watch the news outlets. The market charts are going to tell you the second that the Genius Act passes, because the second that the Genius Act passes, bam, we're going to see XRP up at $3.20 or maybe even at an all-time high. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting a little optimistic. Please do remember that we have no idea what's going to happen, but I am feeling particularly optimistic today. And outside of just today, I'm feeling optimistic about the Genius Act passing. And when the Genius Act passes, I'm feeling very excited about what we're going to get to watch in terms of the market. So with all of that, guys, love you all so much. Thank you for joining. I will be back again on Friday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, guys, I will be over on the original Mark Z tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Whiskey and Wisdom. And so come on over and join us this evening. If you can't make it, then I'll see you again on Friday. Love you guys. Have an amazing Trump Day.